What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Comic Cave. This week we've got James Edward Clark in the building or via Zoom.
Yes, sir. In the square.
What is up, James? Welcome.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks
We
for
got
having me.
another fantastic time. Another Kickstarter you're starting off. Evil. Give us
Yeah, we just launched today.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
and it's already funded, it looked like. Did it already
yeah,
get
we hit our goal about
your goal?
12 hours. This is
Hell
like
yeah.
Woo!
That's
this is the
awesome.
original. These were printed years ago. Basically, this book started off as like I was working at a factory and I wanted to do my own comic, and this was what I came up with. And it's about a mass luchador wrestler named Sammy Destino who needs to go save his girlfriend from a satanic cult called the Space Thunder Death Cult, and plan to sacrifice her at midnight to a bunch of demons to open a portal to hell, bring forth, demons upon the earth. So that's the elevator pitch right there. So yeah, live right now, Evil Comics on Kickstarter. Go back it. We're already funded. Yeah. So
And
jump in, everybody. I
we'll have
guess
a
that's
link below for
my
that.
sales spiel.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
it sounds cool. It sounds like everything we love. Wrestling,
Yeah,
demon.
I'm ready
it
to
was
buy the
everything. Yeah, it was basically like it was a big like pot of everything I loved, and sort of like I started it, like I said, like back when I was working at a factory about like the mid 2010s, and then I got caught up doing Tales to Enlighten with Matt King, which became a whole. See how thick that was. I don't know if you guys have read this one, or
I haven't
uh
seen that one. Have you?
you have
friend
to
of the
go through
show,
like
Erwin Papa showed me that. It's phenomenal, dude.
yeah. You can still get copies, but they're running out quick. You have to go to Matt's Etsy account. So yeah, just look up King Megatrip on Etsy, and there's still copies out there, but they're running out really fast. I think he said he had less than 100 last I heard, and I was on the site because somebody was asking about it, and I was doing the math because he only printed 1,000, so he's getting like real low. Like I'm maybe like 30 something left. And then I did Piss and Apocalypse last year, which is like my own sort of personal thing. Yeah, it was just kind of like my lockdown project. And this was the first kind of solo project, like Kickstarter project I did. It went pretty well and funded, no problem. We got it out to everybody, and you guys actually reviewed it, and you guys seem to like it. So
Oh, we loved it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was
Oh,
thank you
this
very much. Yeah,
it,
no, I love hearing reviews from people. It's just you know, like I think I'm a pretty good artist, but like as a writer, it's a little bit more esoteric. It's really like you have to go with like, is this good? But like when actually you like hear people like kind of get it, enjoy it, it's like, the most rewarding feeling in the world. So I really appreciate that review from you guys.
you're
happy
welcome,
to
dude.
do it,
We
man.
love it.
Yeah,
We
I'm happy to answer any questions about the book too, if you got any. So yeah.
Will we see a part two?
I like I'm happy where I left it right now. Like I got like other projects. Like it's like if I never get around to it, I'm fine. But I do have a specific story in mind, and I got like pretty much all worked out. But like it's kind of further down the list. But like if it's like, years from now, I put out a few more books and everyone's like, which book I like the best was Pissant, and they keep, everybody bugs me for the Pissant Ascension. I'll definitely get around to it. But yeah, right now I'm fine like where I left it. I think it's like a pretty solid ending. Yeah.
For something of this like magnitude, how long does it take to make?
Well, the thing was like, it was kind of my lockdown book, so I really had all the time in the world. And actually, like my first lockdown project, I actually republished basically all of Evil panel for panel backwards because I had like 100 pages of material nobody had seen. And I was like eager, anxious to get that stuff out. Like, you think back to those times when it first started, like it seemed like the end of the world. Are we going to have comic industry or whatever? So it didn't really matter. So it's just like put it out there in the world because it's just, you know, um, I had like at that point I hadn't really done anything with it for a few years, and just what ended up happening though was I ended up like redrawing most of it because it was just like I had all this time. And it was just like I'd wake up every day and I need something to do. It's just like rework that panel. And Piss and Apocalypse began off as like this character in my sketchbook, the big yellow guy who's, the protagonist. And then there were other characters, his wife, and then the pig and everything. They were other characters. And it's just in my head, it was like, bunker down around here, just like going nuts like everybody else. So it's just kind of in my head, they kind of fit together and they all went together. And it was just sort of like an anecdote. I just wanted to do something new and sort of uh you know, completely different, and, you know, reflect like what I was feeling at the time, I guess, you know. So like it started off as just I was just going to do the one you know, kind of zine comic like this. You know, you've seen these there's just this is just like 4 pieces of paper, printer paper, folded twice, and you staple them, you cut the top off. Like it's just I would just make those and kind of sell them along with commissions. And there were I was only doing like $50 commissions. Doesn't sound like a lot, but like at the peak, I was doing like 6 of those a day. And as a little extra, I would throw in a zine, and that became like my distribution model. Because like, you know, if you were to send these, try to sell these in the mail, like for like $10, it doesn't make any sense. But if you like package it with a commission, and, you know, I'm up here in Canada, so you get the exchange rate and everything, like pays for the shipping and everything. It kind of made more sense, especially like if you're doing the volume where you're doing like 6, 7 a day, where I was, where it's just like cranking these things out. And so like I had the one zine, and then I wanted to just got in my head like I should expand it out to a whole book. And it was just kind of like working a puzzle. Like I got all these like weird disparate pieces, but like trying to pull a plot out of that makes sense and people can follow, and it's like has some meaning to it and people can kind of get behind. You know, so it kind of ends up being like kind of a hero's journey. Like I think you guys mentioned that in the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like based on it. I don't know if you ever seen the movie El Topo. I
Yeah.
just like, yeah, just how he goes from. I I just got that. I think like I was watching cartoonist kayfabe. They were talking about like Tim Truman's Scouts, and like that comic. He goes through like all four. He's got to go fight 4 demons, and it's like the first arc of the comic. I'm like, oh yeah, that's like El Topo. And I just kind of started, you know, thinking along those lines, and that's like a cool. I always like that plot. So I was going. That was kind of like what I was going for with the plot, but then had to come up with all the different villains and stuff. Yeah.
What kind of what's your background with art?
Well, I studied illustration at Sheridan, and it's kind of like in Oakville. It's like a suburb of Toronto. Sheridan, like a lot of like, if you ever seen the movie Rock and Rule, it's like an early like '80s movie. Like they're like Sheridan's pretty well known for their animation department. You know, John Kay, the Ren and Stimpy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came out of Sheridan and stuff like that. So it's kind of mostly known for like its animation sort of department, but um yeah, they have like I studied illustration there, and that was just kind of like a nice place because it's like you're out of the city, you don't have too many distractions. Like I was living over there, and they would have just like life drawing classes all the time. Like I would go to like 3, 4, or maybe 3 life drawing classes a day, because you'd have one for your regular course. You'd have to go to life drawing, and then you in the evening they have extra life, and one's at 7 and one's at 11, right? So you're going like till 1 in the morning just doing drawing different models like 3 hours at a time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
So that was like a good education as far as like, you know, getting good at drawing and stuff. So that if I were to like make a curriculum of like teaching kids how to learn how to draw, like I would just do you just drill them on life drawing until they're like they know what they're doing.
And so was comics, or how did that come into the mix? Like with you wanting to publish your own stuff, was that always kind of
I
like
always
the
like comics. Love comics. Like when I was 8 years old, it was like right after the death of Superman. My grandmother, she actually bought me like a subscription because, you know, there was like a Superman book that came out every week back then. So
Mhm.
every week I would get like the reign of the Superman and all that, and it's sort of like that was how I started. And then like I moved on to like reading Spawn, and, you know, Greg Capullo was my favorite artist, and, you know, um, and then got into more indie stuff, Robert Crumb and Love and Rockets and everything, and then got into college and got into like more weird esoteric stuff and the stuff from Europe and manga and all that stuff. So I was just kind of I always just like comics, and just wanted to do them, tell stories and stuff.
Yeah. What's your favorite of all time?
Maybe like Ed Brubaker's Criminal. Is my chair squeaking too much? I feel like my chair squeaks
Good.
a lot.
Oh, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, Brubaker's a good one.
Yeah, I actually like crime a lot of. If I do like my top 10, there's like a lot like crime stuff. Like I love Stray Bullets by David Lapham.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a great one. I try like recently try to work out like what is my top 5, top 10 comics of all time. It was like trying to struggle. Like those two are obvious, but then you're trying to struggle. I don't know. It's like maybe like I like a Bulletproof Coffin by Shaky Kane. I don't know if you ever read any of those.
No.
No, it's like a weird. He came out Deadline magazine, the same magazine as Tank Girl, and he's got kind of a weird kind of poster style. It's like super Jack Kirby, but like super 80s at the same time, and like real blocky and clunky. And it's like Bulletproof Coffin is like a super meta kind of send up of comics, but it's like kind of creepy William S. Burroughs almost. Like in the sequel series, they actually do like a kind of the William S. Burroughs, he do the cut ups where he would like write off a piece of I don't know if you guys know that, but William S. Burroughs, he would do like experimental poetry and shit. He would like write up a bunch of text and cut up into pieces and like the sentences up and put them back together, and he would write, try and write stories with that. And he was, guys like David Bowie would try and like come up with song lyrics the same way. So they did their version with comics, where they did a bunch of comic strips, like 4 panels, and just weird random shit, and just cut it up and then like threw them in randomly. And it was like, I actually like was reading, I was like getting into it, like, oh, this is like weird experimental stuff. And it's like I get to an end and explain it's like William S. Burroughs gimmick. I was excited. But yeah, that's what I like. Yeah. So I got top 3. Let's go with 3. I don't know. Yeah.
It's always tough to get put on the spot and ask, what's your top one? Like, oh man, what are we talking about here? Genre, what genre, superheroes? Are we talking
like stuff I would read over again and stuff like that. Yeah.
So it's not Death of
I do
Superman.
Actually, like my dad got the trade because he was like, it was a big news story back then. It was like everyone was curious about it. Like the one Christmas, he got like the trade just because it was like a random gift. I spent more time looking at that than my own toy, so I think they got the idea. Like I might be into comics, so that's what. Then I got the subscription to the Superman during the reign of Superman. So you'd like have like robot Superman and cyborg Superman fighting each other every week, and that was like the perfect story for an 8-year-old.
Definitely.
Let's talk about so we met our goal on our Kickstarter today. So I am going to start announcing my first stretch goal. So I actually like made a completely new zine comic. Like this is a 22-page material. I've never posted anywhere, never seen it. It's like kind of going to end up being like a bootleg because it's actually an adaptation of an old Philip K. Dick story. I don't know if you guys ever read any of it.
Yeah.
It's like a science fiction. Yeah, if you know Philip K. Dick, like the movies Blade Runner, Total Recall, Minority Report, I think Paycheck with Ben Affleck are all based on stories by him. And this is one called The Electric Ant. And it's about a man who wakes up in the hospital and he has no hand, and he realizes he can't feel any pain. And the doctor comes and explains to him he's not really a man, but a robot. So he's, goes kind of spirals in like existential dread and thinks about killing himself, but like realizes he probably can't because he's not programmed to, because it'd be expensive. Like if your robot would realize, the futility of its existence, like it's just like an automatron, like that you point and do whatever you want. And has no actual like agency over himself. So he, scans himself and he finds out like he's controlled by like the old computers, they had electric tape that they had like punches 1s and 0s, right? So he's got like an electric tape in his chest, but it's like cassette tape, like from the 80s.
It's like a Teddy Ruxpin.
Yeah, Teddy Ruxpin, that's a good one. But yeah, so he starts messing around with the tape because this is like he wants to influence his reality, but like the only reality he knows is on this tape. It controls everything. So if he can control the tape, in essence he controls the reality, right? Basically, like I should explain, like I just read this story one night and I had like a manic episode where just like I could see it all laid out, and I laid it all out, and then I just needed to draw it. Like I had all the words and all the panels, and like you could flip through it and you like just the words, you can figure it out, but I just had to illustrate it, and I just had a bit of time to the lead up. Like I did all this art in like 22 days, and so quick turnaround for the whole thing. Like It's good. That's pretty fast for me. And yeah, I think it's a cool story. I think so what, like I said, I'm not sure about the rights to this story, so I'm going to have, this is going to be a stretch goal. If we get to $10,000, I think. If you backed one of the other tiers with zines, because you can get up to 4 zines collection, like this will be added on for free. And I do have an add-on for this brand new zine that's like a collection of my new figure drawings. If if you add this onto your order, like you'll get 2 instead of 1 once we hit our stretch goal, right?
Cool.
So I think that's a good deal. So yeah, the easiest way to do it, you back the trade paperback and then you get the add-on. And then once we hit our goal, you'll get this brand new, never seen 22-page comic on top of everything. So yeah, I'm announcing that. This is the first time I announced it right on this show. So you guys get this
Comic Cave
That's
exclusive.
exclusive right there.
Yeah. Get your nudies.
Get your new.
very tasteful nudes, but yeah, like, I say, like last night I was at Life Drawing, work drawing a model. So it's like my Monday nights. My friend Kagan, he puts them on. So we got like a picture. Yeah, the part where I'm like banging around. It's a portrait of me by my friend Kagan.
That's awesome.
He's the one that puts on all the these life drawing sessions that I go to that you see me post about. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
original. This came about because like I go every week, and the one week there's like a terrible snowstorm, and I'm the only one who showed up, who trekked like all the way across town to go to this thing, and like the model couldn't even get out there. So it was just me and him, so we ended up drawing each other, and he did this really nice portrait of me that I love. I have it up on my wall over there. So
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. If you ever wonder, like, if you ever on my social media, you wonder about the life drawings, like that's what that story's about.
So the life drawing is something you still keep up.
Yeah, you gotta, it's like you gotta do it to stay sharp. You gotta. It's also like a social thing for me. Like I go there every week. We just had a break for summer, but that's probably why I had time to do a whole new book because we weren't. My Monday nights were open. So yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that. We do this, and then the Long Beach Ink and Drink. It's like, oh man, that's like the most socialization I'll get all month. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do it like weekly, so it's like get that out of the house at least once a week. So it's healthy.
It's healthy.
Yeah.
Good. It's good to get out.
You're around people. Yeah. I was excited like find the screen because like when I do interviews, usually I gotta move stuff around so you can't see like the like complete clutter behind me. So now I got this to cover up, but it doesn't cover it all. So I just tried to like hang up some drawings back there or some artwork or pictures of the Beatles.
I was gonna say, now we're curious by the clutter.
Can we do it?
Yeah, it's like-
Still a clutter.
like-
What do we have here?
oh yeah, tons of stuff. I don't know stuff I got here. Random. It's like what is this? Monet or Manet? Manet.
Mayonnaise.
Man, it's like
Nice.
paint. Got family pictures here. I got this is my friend Adam Gorham did this and he drew me into it. This guy in the background is supposed to be me. I trade him some art. I actually trade him the very first page of Evil for like 2 of these pages where he drew me in them. And he's got the original cover, or no, the original page 1 for Evil like up on his wall, which like ended up being really big because I just like just wanted to do a comic and wanted to do the first page and just end up being really big. Drew it real big, like bigger than my arm and the screen will fit.
I was kind of curious, like, so Pissant, it's kind of like manga size, I guess.
Yeah, I got some like example. Like when I talk about like this was what it was originally formatted to, these little mini comics I've been showing off. And that's kind of like how I sell for this format where you get like the 2 panels or the 4 panels and break it up just like because the show will be too small if you get too many panels in there. So that actually like kind of gave me a rhythm and like determine like the pacing, how much I can fit into it. Like I like to like I find when I'm writing stuff, like the best way to do it is like break it down by page. Like this is basically what my scripts look like. It's like all the pages, and then you go through and like what beats do I want to hit. So you get like I got room for like this news bit, and he drives the bike for this many pages, and then there's them fighting for this many pages, and just kind of like how much room do I actually have? So you break it down by page, and so it's like almost like your timing sheet. You know, like if you're doing a movie or animation, you got to break it down basically by second. So you got to, you know, because you try to cram too much and it'll be too awkward, and you want to be readable. People can follow what's going on, and also like just get a grasp of what the fuck you're doing. Just like get a big broad overview of like how much room you actually have and what you can actually fit in it. So give me a like we're kind of all over the place this interview, getting into my writing process and shit. You're asking about clutter here, yeah.
No, that's fine, dude.
That's fine because
Well, we're on the topic of like making. I'll show you. I might as well show you some thumbnails. So like this is like how the issue starts. So now I'm like breaking it down by page with these thumbnails, and these are like this is bigger and more detailed than I would if it was like I'm working with a publisher and a writer. So I actually got to break down the stuff, but have it be like legible enough they can read it, right? So this is going to be like an action comedy. I'm not sure how much I can say about it, but I'm working with Fred Kennedy. We have a publisher right now, and we're just kind of starting the second issue. And this is, super loose, big globs of ink. And it's just get the story down like this and just super rough. And then you build it up. And then like a lot of times, like I'll work on individual sheets of paper, work pretty big. Do I have one? Do I have an example? Like this is stuff from the Electric Ant story I was showing you. Like at one point, he plugs the tape right into the machine because he wants to get kind of the transmission through the TV through the tape, and he starts hallucinating ducks and shit. So a lot of my stuff ends up being kind of Frankenstein together in Photoshop. And I work pretty big, and it's just kind of getting the effect I want, right? And yeah, what other stuff I can show you? See, I like this setup better because it's like my actual workstation where I actually have my stuff. Usually when I'm doing interviews, I gotta like move stuff around. So so it's just like a blank wall behind me because I, be too self-conscious, see like the mess. What else do I got?
Don't be, man. We started in his garage and like boxes were falling over on us. And people
See the boxes of unsold Piss and Apocalypse in the background too. Yeah.
That's awesome.
This is cool. Yeah. I like this one. Faceless in the Family. I just bought that one a while ago. Recommendation. I got somehow managed to end up with like multiple copies of Patience by Dan Klaus. I asked people if they want them because I have extra ones, but no one's like takes me up on it. It's weird. Not that bad book. Have you read those? Have you read that one? Patience.
I haven't read that one.
Not that one.
You read the new one? Monica?
No, I haven't read that either.
I liked it pretty good.
I thought it was great.
Oh,
Monica.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was kind of like an update of like a lot of his older stories. Kind of now he's older, he's got like more perspective on stuff, and he can like, the character would get to a certain point in like the previous stories, but now he's like 50 something. The character, well, it's kind of like he retreads a lot of like Ghost World in the early chapters with what's her name? Not Monica. Monica's the mother, right? Well, the protagonist, like and then like then you get into like she falls in with a weird cult, and that's like Velvet Glove cast in iron and shit. I don't know. It was interesting. I thought it was an interesting book.
Well, I think that's what's made Love and Rocket so freaking cool and timeless. Because like when they were younger, they had one perspective of it, and now as they've gotten older too, the characters have also grown with them too.
I was like, do I have? I might have some Love and Rockets, but no, it's over there. I wanted to like press you, like pull it up, and
Yeah.
yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, especially like the new ones, like yeah, Maggie's getting like 50, or she's 50 now in the like
Yeah.
uh yeah, it's like he's gotten just it's such a subtle thing when you look through the thing because like you're aging in real time, and you know, yeah.
See, I think like if you were to adapt if you wanted to do a comic book movie, not just with comic book characters, I think that's how you do it. It's like juxtaposition of the creator and its creation, and then you just follow their journey together.
Kind of
And
like the American Splendor movie where they did with
yeah,
Harvey.
yeah.
Yeah,
Similar to
yeah.
that.
That one was pretty good. But that all his shit was autobio to start with. So he is the story. He is the movie.
Yeah. But you would have to I think it would have to be an anim. No, it could be live action.
Like Love and Rockets, I think you should leave it, honestly.
Yeah, you
Like
should.
some of
Yeah.
not Jaime, oh fuck, why can't I remember his name? The other brother.
Gilbert.
Gilbert.
Gilbert, yeah.
Yeah.
Embarrassed to remember. But yeah, some of his stuff you could turn into a movie. Like um I wouldn't want to see somebody cast as Hopi or Maggie.
No.
It's just
Oh no, no, I wasn't talking about like that. What I meant
oh,
was just there should be something like that where it shows you the aging because I get what you're saying with Monica,
yeah.
what you're saying with
I mean, if you're going to adapt, like I thought you're talking about like adapting Love and
oh
Rockets.
no, 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 no. No,
You could
no.
do like some yeah, Gilbert stories for sure, but his stories are weird and they get like real. A lot of them get like perverted, and I'm like that's me talking. Like you read so he's like what's the one that's just literally porn and like his weird fantasies? It's like Blubber. You ever see that one?
For Gilbert?
Yeah, Gilbert. It's I think it's from Fantagraphics. They put out like individual issues. Like Blubber is like just literally like his weird fantasies, and he's into some weird stuff, like too much for me even. So
Oh, I read one. I
Yeah.
read
yeah,
one. And
yeah,
I was
you only need to read one and you get the
that was
drift, I think. I have one issue someplace, but yeah. Uh
Yeah, that one's wild.
yeah, it
You
was like
can't-
it
You know what it
was
kind of reminds me of is the one with the animals. The one where they're all doing drugs and shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
Simon Hanselman's
Simon
the
Hanselman.
Megan.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. What's that one called? I read that.
Werewolf
I was
Jones?
reading that.
Werewolf Jones.
Werewolf Jones?
Werewolf Jones. Well, that's the character. There's like the witch
And
is the
there's the
ma
witch,
something
the Hansel, I think her name is.
Meg
is it
Megan
Maga the
Meg
Bog?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go.
It's like Maga the Bog or something.
And I think he had like a swimsuit issue of her not too long ago too. I was just like, what?
She's always like got a scheme where she's starting OnlyFans or doing a camp stuff, but then like Werewolf Jones will like he's willing to do even more degenerate stuff on camera, so he ends up taking over the operation. Like I remember that from yeah, the his lockdown strips are the best. Yeah.
Yeah, that story was wild. I was
Man,
like, yeah,
a
this
lot of people's
crazy.
heads went to a really wild place during lockdown, man.
You read Piss and Apocalypse, like
I
that
did.
was my lockdown book.
Wasn't who I was picturing when you logged on. I was like, oh, cool.
You expected a big old bulky guy?
No, he was just I don't know. I was just I drew like I had to draw like a muscular guy in the background of Tales to Enlighten. I think it was oh Ren's it was I was supposed to draw like Ren Xerox, but I'm like I just went by memory. I'm like, oh, he's got the goggles and like no nose and like the hair, and then in my head he was like super muscular. So I drew him like three times bigger than he appears in the actual comics, and then I just had such a fun time drawing a big yellow muscular guy. I kept drawing in my sketchbook like after at like 4 a.m. when my brain was fried from like trying to finish up Tales to Enlighten, because that was towards the end that kind of characters start popping up in my sketchbook, and then I had like a series of like pictures of him, and I'm like trying to like force a narrative onto it, like while everything's locking down and stuff. So you'd that's so you can imagine like it was kind of stream of consciousness, the original. Like you read the book, like the opening chapter is kind of like a prologue at this point, but that was supposed to be it, like just that one chapter. And the story I came up with after the fact, which I think it ends up working out pretty well because it's like a good sets the tone for the whole thing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it was-
You get a total like feel for the rules of the world and
Yeah, yeah.
what kind of dude you're dealing with. So
Yeah. I
that's
just
nice.
came up with the idea of it was just a thing in my sketchbook, but I couldn't figure out how to just do like a one-off that's just like wraps it all up in like a neat bow. And then I came up with the idea, oh, he kills the annoying sidekick and eats it. And that'll just be like the punctuation on the end of it. And that's like the part everybody remembers. And like I still get shit about him killing that pig to this day.
Yeah, because it comes out of nowhere that the pig, like, you think, like, oh, this pig's gonna go on forever, and he just
Oh yeah, it's
dies
just
right
yeah,
away.
yeah.
It was
And
good.
it's like it makes sense because it's just like he's just
It's
walking
food.
through.
He
Yeah,
needs
he's
to
just
eat.
trying to eat. Yeah. He's got mouths to feed. He's gonna have like another one soon. It's like it's not, you know. That was his plan the whole time in my head too. It's like I'm just gonna keep this guy around so like this meat will last longer. And then yeah,
It was really good.
Yeah, it was fun.
thank you very much. Yeah, if you like Piss and Apocalypse, you're gonna love Evil. It's
Technically evil.
yeah, it's very much the same kind of vein. Like I've done kind of three books now that thematically are kind of similar. Like in my head, they're kind of like my Apocalypse trilogy. Like Evil is like the first book. It's like the it's like the ritual to like initiate the apocalypse. And then you got Tales to Enlighten, which is the apocalypse, if you read it. And then you got the post-apocalypse with Piss and Apocalypse. So
Oh,
yeah,
damn.
I like it.
yeah. And
You
if you
said-
read it kind of thematically, they're completely different from one another, but like I feel like there's kind of a through line through them almost.
Was that your plan the whole time, or is it
No,
something
just how it worked out. It's like it ends
how it
up being
worked out?
kind of like a diary, but it's like such makes me seem like if you read them, like it makes me seem a lot cooler than I am because I'm just in the meantime, I'm just sitting here drawing. Like maybe I'll go on a date with a girl from the internet, but other than that, I'm pretty boring. I'll go life drawing, try to get some exercise, eat right. I'm not that interesting, but yeah. Hopefully people like my people find my books interesting. So
They're
is the
really
idea.
good.
Absolutely.
They need to get more hands. You said you have a bunch of those behind you. They need
Yeah, I got a couple of boxes in the closet in the corner. Probably going to need to get invest in a storage space just to put all these books I'm going to have. But yeah, it was kind of like lockdown. It's like my mission was I want to get Evil into print, and then Piss and Apocalypse kind of came out of nowhere, and it was like it made more sense to do this one first because it's like smaller and easier to ship. I'm up here in Canada. It's kind of a pain to get stuff over the border if it's too big, and then just go through the process of putting a book together, and it worked out pretty well. And now like I'm ready to tackle Evil finally after all these years.
And do you do the comic convention scenes? Like,
I try to, but I'm very disorganized and procrastinate about everything. So it's something I gotta work on. It's one of my, I guess, New Year's or resolutions. I gotta get out to more cons just so I can sell some of these fucking things.
yeah,
But
come out
I'm
to
always down when it's people ask me. Like I got asked to a con for the first time in forever. I'm going away that weekend because my family, my brother and uncle want to do like a boys' night or boys' weekend. I'm like, oh fuck, that's that weekend. Of course.
Is it so? Do you have a I guess I don't know, a day job, or is it just comics that you're publishing right now?
Just I just do this right now. I'm just kind of not making a ton, but um like I was working at a factory. I got laid off from that, and then as soon as I decided I was going to finish Evil. As soon as I finished that, people started giving me money to do
draw.
their comics, and that's how I did, Tales to Enlighten. At that point, like I was so used to like making no money, so having a little bit of money was like a lot of money to me. And then but eventually like you get to a point where it's like you're looking at the situation, it's like, getting older, I gotta move on. So I was kind of like after Tales to Enlighten, like I gotta go back to working full time. But then they like locked down the economy for 2 years. Did you hear about that? That was weird. They did that. And then uh so I'm kind of like I actually ended up making like a lot of money just doing commissions, like I was saying. And like that was able to like just float me the whole time. I didn't take any government money or nothing. I just did a ton of commissions and tried to get like my stuff out there to people. And then yeah, I was kind of like I'm going to get these 2 books printed, and then we'll see where we're at, if this is like still a viable thing. So, like I was saying, I'm working with a publisher trying to do this book, and so I guess that's something that we'll see how that goes. This will be like a 4-issue thing. Probably get it printed, probably be done sometime next year. Depends. Really like on, because they kind of like you wait for a while to get notes back from the publisher, like what you got to edit and stuff. So it's like we were waiting just for notes for a while, and then I did like a whole nother book in the meantime. So yeah.
Oh man, so it's a slow process then.
So yeah, that's the sort of stuff this is sort of the stuff you deal with when you're a comic creator. It's like you're working, it's like you're doing a project and you're doing your own thing, and you're doing, just try everything. I'll try a Kickstarter. Okay, we'll try a publisher, do whatever. A lot of it's like you get opportunities, and then it's like it takes a long time to execute like the product. So you're like months and months work on something, and then you're like, it's done. So it's like, what do we do next? And somebody just throws you something. You're like, okay, you're chasing that up next. Yeah.
So what would you tell your younger self if you had to give him some advice?
I'd warn him about COVID.
Invest in toilet paper.
Yeah. Don't put sugar in your coffee. Sugar's bad for you.
Sugar.
That's I don't want to. I'd probably be horrified if I saw myself now. Just like, be like a movie where like you meet your past self, and it would break your mind. I feel like my 20-year-old self couldn't handle that.
But you're stronger now.
That's just me.
Oh man. And what do you think has been like best piece of advice anybody's giving you as far as comic creating goes?
I don't know.
If there is any.
Yeah, I don't know. You just if I give people advice, it's a lot of work, and you just got to stick to it and have stamina and focus. And it's just a ton of fucking work. And if it's going to be any good, you got to give it your all.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And who would you say? Yeah. Who would you say has probably been the most who's had the most influence on you art wise?
I like Greg Capullo a lot. I like Robert Crumb. Big into lately I've been looking at a lot of Milo Manera, but not necessarily for like the women, but like the way he'll draw like clouds or like shrubbery, like how he'll draw like a bush. And it's like, I got his books, I'll be pouring over that, but like it won't be like the figure drawings, it'll be like the shit in the background, because he'll draw that shit so beautifully. And like I'm almost like more into like his fucking the way he draws clouds and his women at this point. Milo Manera, he does like really
yeah.
He's
His atmosphere is actually
that what's that?
His atmospheres are top notch. He really sets a scene. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You feel like the clouds going through the sky.
Yeah, if you like that,
like I've been looking.
You should check out his what is it, his interpretation or his thing of Gulliver's Travel.
I got one of those. Yeah, with the girl.
Okay, yeah, he did that, and that whole thing he did on there was dope. The backgrounds were amazing on that.
Oh yeah, that's definitely like, yeah, I'm talking like that. That's like one of the books I got back there. That was like in heavy metal, I think, originally or something.
Yeah, it's like oversized now. It's pretty dope.
The oversized would be worth it to get like upgraded, because I just have like the regular trade paperback.
Okay.
But I want to find like they put out like the complete Milo Manera library in different volumes. And I just have one volume. It upsets me that I don't have the whole thing. And I look at that thing all the time. It's like him as like a young man. He draws like a self-portrait of him. And I think him and Hugo Pratt, like the literal Hugo Pratt, go on like some weird adventure together. And it's like super photo reference, but it's like really gorgeous. Because it's like him posing and stuff. But yeah. In the mirror or whatever. But yeah. I forget what that story's called. It's like something. I don't know. But that was like, I think volume 5 of the complete Milo Manera, but that's been out of print for a while. But yeah, there's a guy I like right now. Like I like guys like at this point, like I flip through it if like stuff like I can't do or can't do better. Like people, I like looking at people who are a lot better than me. because it's just like you try to pick up tricks from them. It's like so much stuff. I'm like I flip through it and it's like, is it better than my stuff? So I think it's like my bar. Like I'm looking at like I want people who are better than me so I can get better.
Hell yeah.
Or maybe the story's really good. Like if it's an Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips story, like that's always going to be good.
Yeah, Jeff Darrow's also up there with like.
Oh yeah, I gotta get Jeff Darrow. I just I traded the one comic book shop guy. He gave me the giant oversized printing of the latest cowboy a Shogun Cowboy. That's I look at that one a lot.
Good.
But he's almost like I've met him before. He was at a con I went to, and he's very nice. But he was just sitting there bored, and he drew like a whole like by the end of the weekend he drew like on the covering, the plastic covering for the table they had. He was just waiting, just sat there with a marker because no one was talking to him, and just filled the whole thing. And I was so mad, like I didn't have like a box cutter because I used to work in a factory, so I just got in the habit of carrying a box cutter around, but I didn't have one because that would be weird bringing to a convention.
You're just taking the whole table.
Yeah, no, I just would have cut off because I could just cut off his like whole drawing and just took that. I'd have like my own original Jeff Darrow piece. I just to this day I kick myself about that because he's like was just bored the whole week and no one was talking to him. I talked to him a few times. I went by his table and stuff, but just like he's just sitting there just like doodling because he's like shy guy. He's not gonna like sit there and do the hard call people over and like try and sell the shit. He was just I think he just had a sketchbook there. He was selling for like $50 and like.
Yeah, we met him. I met him at San Diego Comic Con. He was at the Dark Horse booth, and surprisingly, I thought he was going to be harder to get.
Oh yeah,
He was
because
just
he's so unassuming, right? And it's like you kind of have to be into comics to like know him,
yeah,
and then you see him in person. He's just like really quiet kind of guy.
yeah.
But really,
He even sketched on all the people that I guess I don't know if he was just very thankful that people were actually walking up because there was really nobody in that line for that like 45-minute time slot he was there.
oh yeah,
Sketching on all the posters he was giving away.
oh yeah.
I got like a little dinosaur head on one of his Sheldon Cowboys from back in the day.
I think I might have something from him that he signed, but I forget what it was now.
And actually, that was I think it was Sheldon Cowboy because then it wasn't until later on that I read Hardboiled. And I was like, oh man, I wish I would have had.
I remember the first time I saw his stuff. It was just my cousin had an old Wizard magazine. And it was just one panel from I think Big Boy and Rusky, and I was just mesmerized by it. It's just like, how did somebody draw that? It's crazy. I couldn't wrap my head around that somebody did that. And like for years, that was the only Wizard magazine I'd looked at, and I would look at it every time I go to my cousin's house. I was just transfixed on that. And like years later, I found out, oh, that's Jeff Darrow, and like I think in college I finally got hands on that book, and like I have I got most of his things because he's like you can imagine how slow he is, and then he'll go to Hollywood and like do the Matrix or something for 5 years and like not do any more comics.
He did.
Yeah, he was the guy who did the Sentinels and a lot of the tech setups and like in the ship.
Yeah, dude.
That's why when they did the first volume of Sheldon, Cowboy, it was through the Wiskowski's imprint, Burly Man, if you remember. Like there was the Wiskowski, or I'm saying their name wrong, but like
The Wachowski brothers.
the siblings now, or sisters. I think they're both. Anyway, the siblings. They were they had their own comic imprint for a minute, and like they put out two books. One was Doc Frankenstein and one was Shaolin Cowboy. I think they were just like they just worked with both of the artists on the storyboards for the Matrix, and they're like, you got like your own self-published thing, and they might have written Doc Frankenstein or had something to do with the writing of Doc Frankenstein, but like I remember the only thing they had written in Shaolin Cowboy, you know how he has like a talking donkey.
Yeah,
They would write that stuff. They would write the dialogue for the donkey, but everything else, like those story and everything, was Jeff Darrow. So yeah,
that blew my mind. I did not know that.
Yeah. But he's got like a few because he was like I think he was like in with he was friends with Mobius and Mobius was in with like a lot of the Hollywood stuff. He was doing he always do like you find out years later all these guys they do like little jobs for
Well,
Hollywood.
Moby did what is it? Jimi Hendrix
Yeah,
albums.
he did the album, one of the last albums.
So
Oh, which one?
He
Oh,
did the
Mobius.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mobius did the art on one
didn't
of the
know.
albums.
Oh, which one was that? I didn't know that one.
Just look up Jimi Hendrix Mobius and you'll find it.
yeah,
No, because he did like a whole album or like a whole like series of prints about it. Was that for like an actual album cover? I didn't know that because he has like a bunch of Jimi Hendrix drawings, right?
I think it's like a book, right?
Yeah, it's like a series of just illustrations.
It's kind of like how we did with Miyazaki, where it's like the print book or whatever, where I don't know how many
Okay, so it's like that.
illustrations,
Yeah,
but
it's like I
That
think
was the actual album.
yeah, I think it's like an album of like illustrations, like a series of illustrations. I think,
with that.
but yeah, like I know what you talk about. Like it probably it might have started off as like him like an illustration job for an album cover. That'd be awesome if it's true. I haven't listened to I think I loved Are You Experienced? I had that album as a kid. Listened to that a million times.
that's a good one.
It's like a fucking great album. You're looking at Mobius pictures.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
looking
we're trying to figure
we're
that out.
we're like,
I think I think that's what it was, if I'm remembering right. Because it's like there's like a series of illustrations, like based on Jimi Hendrix and his music that Mobius did. But yeah. But yeah, I've been getting into like Drew Lay's another guy I've been getting into. I know, he did he founded the French version of heavy metal along with Mobius. He was like one of the first artists in there. And like I'm actually like Evil is actually like what I'm printing now. This is going to be volume 1 of Evil. And then volume 2, which is going to definitely come out before Piss and Apocalypse 2, is I'm looking at a lot of Drew Lay because he does these like really elaborate double page spreads that have like a million people in armies fighting each other and like that's kind of like what the feel I'm going for volume 2. I've been working up myself, it up in my head, trying to like work up the nerve to start volume 2 of Evil, but I promised myself I wouldn't until the first one's in print. So it's coming up. We're going to start soon. But yeah, I gotta do this book, the crime comedy book with Fred Kennedy, and then unless nothing else comes up, probably will start Evil 2 while I'm working on that, especially if I get like big breaks in like waiting for edits like the last one. So
hell yeah. Dude,
yeah.
you doing some Drew Lay inspired stuff sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of daunting too when you look at it though. It's like, oh, like I'm like, because I know myself, like I'll get to the point where I'm like, I'll try and draw like a crowd of like people, but I'll have to draw every one of those motherfucking things like individually, and it's just like you're gonna fucking drive yourself crazy.
Well, what you do is you make it worth it. Is you also make a print out of it.
Yeah.
You can like
See, you never know, like what hits it off with like people like what gets shared around a lot. Like there's if you look in the opening of Tales to Enlighten, you got this like octopus thing. Like this here is like probably the most shared like image I've ever done. Like I don't know, fucking like back when I was on Tumblr, I had like tens of thousands of like reposts of that fucking thing, and like I still get messages to this day. Like people are still passing around. It's just like it was just a random thing that I did. Actually, it was part of Tales to Enlighten, but it got cut from like the final book. But like I just posted that like thing, and I put like a blue background, so it'd be like in water, like just the octopus, and then like blue background, and then it's just still people like that image. Like I've seen people like use it as their phone screen and shit. And it's just like, like I've done all these thousands of drawings, but that's one that like hit a nerve for some reason. I don't know.
and you still get royalties from that?
It's not like royalties, just people sharing it around.
That's awesome.
It's just like something I threw out there, and it's like, the thing that went viral, kind of, sort of, was shared tens of thousands of times.
Awesome. What did you say?
I had that cup.
You had that
I
cup?
had that
Oh
cup.
yeah,
See, you
I
can
have,
find it. There it is.
I got your mug. I have a cookie jar too over there.
Mine broke though.
Yeah, I like it because it's like it's not going to tip over. It's nice and wide, so like I can drink coffee around my laptops and not worry.
So other than art, are you into like collectibles or anything else, or is it just artwork?
No, I'm like I thank my lucky stars I never got the fucking toys.
Yeah, don't. It's
No, like it seems like that's like too much of like
It's
comic
great.
books, you know, you could make they're like literature, you can make a excuse, you could like culture, they've got art, and it's just like, but toys, like you can't explain that to your girlfriend.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can. We found a way.
You guys make it work. I don't think I can pull that off. I don't have that kind of swag.
Dude,
I gotta work with what I got. I got it, you know. I'm already working at a deficit. I can't like add more on top.
yeah, I guess so. Top tier manipulation is not for everybody.
Too honest with these girls. I don't know.
Guy likes to gaslight.
Yeah.
I know. I don't. I gotta learn how to negotiate. That's my problem. I'm too nice. I simped for them all the time.
Well, the book is Evil, James Edward Clark. Thank you so very much for your time, dude. Like,
Yep, live right now. We've already hit our goal. Yeah, get in there, get the add-on with the nudie drawings, and we get to 10,000, you get an extra book. So that's where we're
dope.
going.
We cannot wait. Well,
Thank you very much, guys.
we're
Nice to
definitely
talk.
gonna support it. We're gonna make sure we have all the links below for that, and then also for the what was the other one? First
Nudie?
book? Not the nudie book.
Oh, Tales
Yeah,
from the Night.
Tales
Tales
to
to
Enlighten,
Enlighten,
yeah.
and then
Tales
I
to
can also
Enlighten.
get a Pissant Apocalypse still from you.
You can get Piss Apocalypse through the campaign. We got specific tiers. You can pick this up. You can pick it up with the zines.
Okay.
And you can get the add-on if you just want the 30 nude scene. So I got you guys whatever you want.
All right.
And
And then
and make sure you spam his page saying we demand pissant ascension.
That's right. Where Ascension went.
well, thank you so very much for your time, man. I know it's like
Thank you,
1
guys.
a.m. over there.
We
We
appreciate
No,
it.
it's fine.
we appreciate you, dude.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate talking to you guys. You guys having me on. And I really am glad you guys like my books, and it means a lot to me. Thanks.
Hey, thank
Hell
you.
yeah.
dude.
Thank you.
Keep
Have a
putting
good
out
night.
great
Keep,
work.
yeah, keep doing what you're doing because you're fucking doing a fantastic job at it. So
Well, thanks, guys.
have
Appreciate
a
it.
good night or a good morning. Thank
Yeah.
you. Bye.
Good night, guys.